The most profitable thing I own is parked in my driveway, and it's worth about $9,000. It's an 11-year-old Japanese pickup, faded paint on the hood, a dent in the rear door. My neighbor's college kid drives something nicer. And by the time this video is over, I'm going to show you the full receipt proving that this embarrassing little truck has paid me over $118,000. Not saved me, paid me. There's a difference, and the difference is the whole video. I'm Arthur. I worked an ordinary job for 30 years, retired at 52, and now I explain what nobody explained to me. Quick, honest note. This channel uses AI tools for the voice and visuals, and nothing here is financial advice. Today it's mostly arithmetic, and arithmetic doesn't care about either of us. All right, before the receipt, the dent. There's a story in that dent on my rear door. It's been there for years. It would cost about $400 to fix. I can comfortably afford $400, and I have refused to repair it. Ellen has stopped asking why. At the end of this video, I'll tell you why. It's the best part. Hold on to the dent. Every 3 to 6 years, America performs a ritual. You know it. You've probably performed it. The car starts feeling old. Nothing's wrong with it, exactly. It starts every morning. But the neighbor got something new. The ads know your lease is ending before you do, and the phrase begins circling your head like a fly. It's time. So you go to the dealership. And friend, the dealership is a cathedral built around one number, not the price. They'd almost rather not say the price. The number is the monthly payment. Where do you want to be a month? Is the first real question anyone asks you there, and it's asked because of what we covered in the 70% video, the monthly brain. $600 a month sounds like a phone bill. $48,000 sounds like what it is. Now the numbers, and I want you to hear how normal these have become. The average new car in America now runs somewhere north of $47,000. The average new car payment has pushed past $700 a month. Terms have stretched to 68, 72, even 84 months, 7 years, because that's the only way to make the arithmetic look like a phone bill. And a meaningful share of trade-ins now roll negative equity, money still owed on the old car, into the new loan. Owing money on a car you no longer own, stacked onto a car losing value while you sign. And here's the sentence that took me embarrassingly long to understand. None of this is a scandal. Nobody's cheating. Every number is disclosed. It's simply a ritual designed brilliantly so that you never, ever see the full receipt in one place. So let's do the thing the cathedral is built to prevent. Let's total it. 3 lines. Line 1, the payment itself, but seen across a lifetime instead of a window sticker. The ritual repeats every 4 to 6 years, remember? So the $700 payment isn't a phase, friend. For the standing appointment household, it's a subscription. A permanent $700 a month subscription to newness from age 25 to 65. Watch what that subscription costs in the other currency. Take just 10 years of it, $700 a month, $84,000 of payments. Now run the alternative. Drive a paid-off car those same 10 years and invest the $700 at historical market averages. And past performance guarantees nothing. We're using history as a compass, not a contract. 10 years of $700 a month compounds to roughly $115,000 to $120,000. Read those two futures side by side. Same decade, same $700 leaving your checking account every month. One future, you own a used car and $84,000 of receipts. The other, you own a used car because the new one became used anyway, they all do, and a 6-figure pile that now pays you. That's where my truck's $118,000 came from. It's not a metaphor, it's my brokerage statement, funded by every payment I didn't make for 11 years. The truck didn't save me money. The truck bought assets. It's the best salesman I ever met. Line 2, depreciation. The cost nobody feels because it's never billed. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in year 1, around 40 to 50% by year 5. It is a block of ice you purchased in July, and it melts fastest the day you carry it out of the store. On a $47,000 car, that first year of melting is $9,000 or $10,000, gone silently, no invoice, no receipt, while it sits in your driveway looking successful. Now here's the part the ritual hides. The melting is not linear. Years 1 through 5 melt fast. Years 8 through 15 barely melt at all. My truck loses maybe $500 of value a year now. There's almost nothing left to melt, which means the person who buys new every 4 years doesn't just pay more often. They arrange to own the car exclusively during its melting years, hand it off right as the melting slows, and buy a fresh block of July ice, repeatedly, on purpose, forever. The Keep It household does the opposite. They suffer the melt once, then ride the cheap, flat years for a decade. Same brand, same model, wildly different lifetime bill. Where do you think your last car was on the melt curve when you traded it, friend? Be honest, mine was 2 years into the flat part, the cheap part, the day I almost gave it away. We're coming to that. Line 3. Quickly. The entourage. A newer, dearer car brings its whole family to live with you. Full coverage insurance on a financed car, required by the lender, no choice, versus the liability plus coverage a paid-off older car can carry, routinely a difference of several hundred to over $1,000 a year. Registration and property taxes, keyed to value in many states, higher every year. Interest on the loan itself. At recent rates, a 72-month loan on the average new car quietly adds $8,000–$10,000 to that window sticker. Even repairs flip the way you'd least expect. Yes, my old truck needs a $900 repair some years, and that's still less than 2 months of the average new car payment. People flee to a $700 a month payment to escape a $75 a month average repair bill. The cathedral has a chapel just for that fear. Total the 3 lines and the honest lifetime gap between the Ritual household and the Keep It household isn't a car payment. It's a fortune. Let me show you exactly how big. 2 neighbors, same street, same $75,000 income, both age 40 today. Both, let's be clear, good people who work hard. Neighbor 1 keeps the standing appointment, a new financed vehicle every 5 years. Payment, melt, insurance, interest. Call it a conservative $850 a month, all in, forever. Neighbor 2 buys a solid 3-year-old car. Somebody else already paid for the fastest melting, pays it off in 3 years, then drives it to year 12. Repeats. Her 20-year, all-in average, roughly $350 a month. The $500 difference goes into boring index-style investing, automatically, every month. 20 years later, they're 60. Neighbor 1 has a nice car in the driveway, about $9,000 of equity in it, and the memory of always having had a nice car. Neighbor 2 has a decent car in the driveway, 7 years old, runs fine, and, at historical average returns, somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000. Past performance, again, is a compass, not a contract. But the direction of that compass has held for a century. $250,000. That's not a car decision anymore. At the napkin math from the Never Work Again video, spending times 25, that's several years of full freedom or an entire early retirement moved from fantasy to calendar. Purchased with a decision the neighbors will read the entire time as falling behind. Pause and ask yourself the only question that matters here. In 20 years, which driveway do you want to be standing in? Because you're standing in the showroom for one of them right now, every time it's time starts circling. Now, if the math is this lopsided, why does almost everyone choose the melting ice? Because the car was never transportation, friend. The car is the costume. It's the largest object anyone can see you own. It arrives everywhere 30 feet before your personality does. And somewhere along the way, America agreed on the reading. New car, doing well. Old car, struggling. We covered the moving neighborhood in the 100K video, the room that recalibrates normal at every level. The driveway is that room's front row. So the upgrade isn't bought to move the body. It's bought to move the story, to answer the neighbor's truck, the parking lot at the reunion, the small hot shame at the valet. I know this one personally, and the Dent knows it too. Almost there. But here's what 3 decades of watching actual rich people taught me. Gene's species, the quiet ones. They opted out of the costume economy entirely, and the opt-out was the wealth. Remember the tell from the 10 signs video. It's never that the quietly rich drive old cars. It's that the old car is immaculately maintained. Zero costume, total stewardship. The costume says, "I have money." The stewardship quietly proves it. Those two statements, it turns out, are usually mutually exclusive, because the money that funds the proof is exactly the money the costume eats. Now, the anti-dogma section, because I promised you arithmetic, not religion, and never buy a car, is religion. Sometimes replacing is the right call. Here are the honest triggers. When repairs stop being occasional and become structural, transmission, frame rust, the season a mechanic says, "Start over," the flat part of the melt curve is over. Move. When safety has genuinely aged out, airbags, braking systems, the stuff that protects the humans. A car that's cheap but unsafe is not cheap. When life redraws the requirements, the third kid, the new 80-mile commute, and when the finances are already in order, no expensive debt, the machine funded, the ratio under the line, and you simply want it, can pay for it without a 7-year loan, and buy it 2 or 3 years old so someone else funds the melting. Then buy the car, friend, and enjoy every mile guilt-free. Wealth exists to be spent on purpose. The trap was never the car. The trap is the standing appointment, the automatic, unexamined, every 5 years ritual performed for an audience that, let's be honest, isn't actually watching. The rule that survives all cases: buy the car with math, keep it with maintenance, and replace it for reasons you'd say out loud to Gene with a straight face, which brings us back to my rear door. 7 years ago, the truck was 4 years old then, a runaway shopping cart caught it in a grocery store parking lot on a windy Tuesday. Small dent, nothing mechanical. But that same week, a guy on my crew rolled into the yard with a brand new $62,000 truck, and the whole floor came out to circle it like a moon landing. And I stood there next to my dented 4-year-old pickup and felt it, the full hot flush of the costume problem. By Saturday, I was at the dealership. I'm not proud of the sequence, but there it is. A shopping cart and a coworker nearly cost me 6 figures. The salesman was lovely. The trade-in offer was insulting. The new payment was $740 for 72 months. And while he went to talk to his manager, I sat in that little glass office and, out of nowhere, heard Gene's voice do the napkin math. $740 a month invested instead for the 11 more years I'd realistically keep a truck. I did it on my phone with my heart rate up. The number had 6 figures in it. I drove home in my dented truck, set up the automatic transfer for the exact amount of the payment I'd almost signed, and never fixed the dent. On purpose. That dent is the price tag of the lesson, friend. $400 of bodywork would erase the only receipt I have for the day I almost bought a costume with my freedom. So that's why it's still there. 11 years old, faded hood, one glorious dent, the only vehicle in the neighborhood that's a trophy. Boring is what winning looks like from the outside. Your homework is one number. Whatever your current or your next car payment would be, run it through 20 years at the compound interest calculator of your choice. Then decide what the costume is actually worth to you, awake, on purpose, with the receipt in hand. Some of you will still buy the truck. Fine, you'll be the first person on your street who bought it with open eyes. Tell me in the comments, how old is your car and what's the dent you refuse to fix? I'll be reading from the porch. The truck's parked where I can see it. Take care of your money. It's quietly taking care of you.